Hello, and welcome to Walk the Cinema, where we walk the cinema so we can talk the cinema. I'm here with my co-host, and today we have part one of Oscar highlights, where we go through every movie nominated for Best Picture for the 2021 Academy Awards.
Yeah, and today our very first Oscar highlights is The Father.
Yes, we're going alphabetically, and at the end, we're gonna predict, to the best of our abilities, who's going to win what and why.
Yeah, and just we're going to be doing this for all the best pictures, like we said before. So if you want to like and subscribe to kind of follow our opinions and thoughts, that'd be great.
It would be amazing. So, The Father. We follow a man that has dementia, and we see how he and his daughter and everyone else around him handle it,
Hmm.
and how he's very against assistance for his illness, or not illness, his disease.
Hmm. Yeah, he definitely doesn't want help, which I feel like is pretty common in people that have these types of conditions.
Yeah, I feel like he's scared and confused at the same time, so offering him help just makes him more panicky
Yeah, because
about his situation.
no one wants to admit that they have, some type of issue.
Especially dementia is so scary.
Yeah, just in
I'm very,
general.
very scared of it, but his daughter is great with handling it, and I hope our kids, if we ever need it, hopefully we don't, knock on wood, but
Yeah, I mean, you know, dementia and Alzheimer's, which can cause dementia or uh, that kind of thing, has shown up in my family. So I've gotten to experience memory related issues
mm,
um, firsthand, which it did kind of remind me of some things, but I wasn't there to witness exactly what happened in The Father.
the father was extremely crushing to me, and I think it was mostly because Anthony Hopkins just switched seamlessly between being lucid and then being angry that he can't remember stuff, or he
Yeah,
remembers stuff but not the details, and he gets confused. And Anthony Hopkins is great in this.
yeah. I think that the screenplay and even I guess the editing um kind of really do a good job at kind of piecing different realities together because it's pretty
Yeah,
much
it's
straight off the bat there's elements of
inconsistencies.
reality reality switching.
Yeah, it switches between his points of views. He's very confused about what's happening around him.
Yeah, even who people are.
Yeah, it's his own fabric of reality seems to be going away, which is so scary.
Yeah, and I think part of the screenplay, I guess, is to confuse the audience to make you feel exactly how
Yeah,
Anthony Hopkins' character is feeling.
it's very disorienting. Sorry, disorienting in a fantasy type way
Yeah.
sometimes because he has the operatic music and then the inconsistencies that can happen and the repetition and the faces switch
Hmm.
and the houses move and you're just always on edge the same way he must be.
Yeah, it starts out with his daughter, played by Olivia Coleman, saying that she is thinking about hiring a new caretaker
Mm,
because she wants to move to Paris to be with a man she met.
yeah,
Um, and then pretty much almost immediately he mentions her going to Paris and she says that she's not going to Paris, that they've never talked about going to Paris.
yeah.
And
So we don't know what the timeline is here.
yeah, we have no idea like when the timeline is happening. And And to further, I guess, expand upon that, do you remember the name of the guy that she said she met?
Paul?
Was it Paul or was it? Because I guess I'll have to watch it again. I think you do have to watch it several times to kind of get the full picture of what's
Mm-hmm.
going on. So
Yeah, definitely.
this is just us watching it once over, but
Yeah, and it's very short, but there's a lot in it.
yeah, it definitely packs a punch. But one of the things that I noticed is kind of pretty still near the beginning. He sees a man in his apartment who says his name is Paul, but he calls him James. And I couldn't remember if that's the name that she said she met or if it was Paul.
I guess it's part of the experience.
Yeah, because I don't know. The way that I pieced it together is that maybe she had an ex-husband and this is a new guy, or maybe there was only one guy to begin with. I really
Or it
don't
could be
know.
the other daughter's husband.
It
I
could
really
be. I
don't.
didn't really think about that.
Yeah. It is a very Oscar film. I don't think it's necessarily Oscar bait in that way, but it is carried by the strong emotions and the strong performances, and that's exactly the type of movie that the Academy voters love.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not new. The handling dementia in a movie is not new. We have movies similar to it, like Just Alice, that also handle the family dynamic around someone with dementia. But I feel like the tone and the performance in this one really make it stand out more than the
Yeah.
others.
Yeah, I mean, I think we both think Anthony Hopkins did a great job at portraying a man that
Yeah.
is going through dementia. And
As much as his nomination last year was deserved, this one is just a class above.
yeah. And I also think Olivia Coleman did great. I love Olivia Coleman, and
She
I think,
definitely did great.
yeah, I just think she has such range, and it's really funny
Yeah.
that she can go from being in Hot Fuzz to being in The Favorite or The Father, you know?
Yeah.
But
You could see her pain trying not to break down as she saw like her father whimpering away.
yeah, I mean,
And
it is scary. I mean, just speaking from my experience, my mom's grandmother had Alzheimer's, um, and she started to forget things, or she would be having a conversation with my mom, talking about her grandkids. So she was
mm,
talking to my mom about her grandchild, who was my mom, thinking that she was at a younger age than, what she was. Like in her mind, my mom was still 12 or 11, but in reality, she was in her 30s and had kids of her own. So it was kind of,
it's a very scary prospect.
yeah, you
You're
just,
scaring me right now.
it's part of life, it happens.
Let's hope it doesn't happen to
Yeah.
us.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
But I mean,
It'd be great if Olivia won again, because drunken speeches. Am I right?
hmm yeah, that was a great speech that she had a few years ago. But I don't know. We'll see who wins this time. We'll make our predictions later, but
Yeah, I'm not predicting anything. I'm just saying a drunk speech would be fun again.
yeah.
Last one was unexpected.
Yeah. I I think that kind of going back to the movie, I was just thinking that I think there is a distinct timeline. I just don't know what it
Hmm.
is, you know? Like I'd have to think on it.
There's a lot of details to it.
Yeah.
There's the detail that the titular character, the father, Anthony Hopkins, is also called Anthony, which kind of just connects him more to the reality
Yeah.
and makes us more confused because that's the actor's name and we're hearing it. And sometimes
Mhm.
you forget that it's not Anthony Hopkins because he's so good.
Yeah, and I think that it does a good job at it's not like a linear story. That's the thing. Like things are happening kind of in a circle, I guess. Because there was like a scene where Anthony Hopkins walks in on his daughter and her husband talking, and he said that the husband said something about how, oh, he's sick. We need to do something about it, or maybe he needs to go in a home, like that kind of thing. And then Anthony Hopkins sits down at the table with them, and then I don't know how much time passed, maybe like 20 minutes, but then it kind of comes back to that scene, but it's now in the perspective of Olivia Coleman and her husband,
Mm-hmm.
where it's them having the conversation, and then they see him walk in.
Yeah. They did
So
that a lot.
yeah, they
It also
do.
comes back to the chicken a lot.
Yeah, whether she bought a chicken or didn't buy a chicken.
Yeah.
So it
I think the chicken is there so we can kind of piece it together that we're
yeah,
coming back to the same spot we were before.
yeah,
But it disorients you.
it does. And I think there's even more disorientation because he also can't recognize people, or he'll put different people's faces on others,
Hmm. And
like
different names and
yeah, exactly. Like one of the instances is there's two different actors that Anthony Hopkins, I guess, associates with being Paul, his daughter's husband. And there's a scene where her husband starts hitting him,
hmm
and the husband that hits him is played by, I think it's Mark Gatiss, the guy from Sherlock. It's that actor. That's the husband version that's hitting him. And then all of a sudden it switches to a different reality where he's acting like the husband is hitting him, but now the husband is played by a different actor.
hmm
So it's kind of disorienting because it's like, oh, did the husband hit him, or is this other person hitting him, but he is associating it with the husband.
Yeah, that's why I said earlier it feels like a fantasy
Yeah.
in ways because it transports its own reality so often
Mm-hmm.
that it starts to not seem real.
Yeah.
And it's just such an inner struggle that we see the main character going through, not knowing when is anything. He doesn't know when or where anything is happening, really. He thinks it's his house at all times. Even though it's his daughter's house or it's a clinic, he always thinks he's home,
Yeah.
which I guess is his comfort space that he goes to in his head.
Yeah, I would say that, or he'll like start thinking that, or he forgets that his other daughter Lucy, I assume she died in an accident. I think that's
They
what.
show her in the hospital, but again, we can't know for sure anything.
Yeah, but that's what I would assume because they kind of got quiet anytime her name was mentioned. Um, so he kind of forgets about that kind of thing, or
Mm,
or like I don't know. It's it would be extremely difficult to a go through because I can only imagine how scared you might feel or how
yeah.
frustrated you might feel because you can see the frustration I think a lot more than you see like his scared feeling because he's
You see
always
the frustration turning into anger more than
yeah
scared.
yeah because you see that he's always like, oh, my daughter repeats herself so often,
Mm.
or
Because people need to keep repeating themselves because he doesn't know what's happening, or they need to talk down to him,
yeah, that was
kind of like
another thing.
a child, or I
Yeah,
think it says mentally ill patient. I don't remember, but it's
yeah,
kind of talking down like a child, where you gotta be very simple in the way you're saying things so you can follow. But when
yeah.
he gets lucid moments, he gets very offended by that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think everybody would be, especially when you get to that age. It's like, I'm old, not dead, or like I'm old,
Mhm.
not.
But I think we should talk about the weakest point of the movie, the distribution. Not a lot of people saw this.
That's true.
It's it's basically not out in
Yeah,
most places.
yeah. I was like, I was looking it up on the Wikipedia page, and it's not even coming out in the UK until after the Oscars, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah, most of Europe is gonna get it during March,
Yeah,
which I understand that tactic, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think it definitely has a lot of potential to win some awards. I don't know if it's enough for hype financially, especially
right.
a lot of places being closed. But yeah, not a lot of people have seen it, so I don't think a lot of people can really have an opinion about this one.
That's true. I hadn't really thought about the distribution kind of affecting its chances.
Yeah, it still got nominated because it's clearly a good movie.
Yeah, I think it's really good. And I do think it's very very real, you know.
Yeah, scaringly real.
It's scaringly real. And that the I wasn't sad during the movie until that final scene where he's at the facility and the nurse comes in and he
Mm,
regresses pretty much all the way back completely talking about his mom.
he needs his mother, and he's
Yeah.
just so weak and vulnerable. And
Yeah, and
I feel like that's just him giving up. And
yeah,
again, going back to his place of comfort, he just wants the things he's familiar with. It's very
yeah.
sad.
It is sad. I know that my great grandmother also had moments of like thinking she was young and that her mom was alive or that her other siblings were alive, and you know, it's hard. I
Yeah, it's hard. It's a terrible thing.
Yeah, I was never close to my great grandmother, but I know that it must have. I can't even imagine what it was like for my grandmother to see her mom like that, or my mom to see her grandmother like that. You know.
Mm. So we're gonna talk about the nominations this got,
Hmm.
and also this was the director's first feature length. I think he did theater. I think this is adapted from a theater piece. So congratulations on the feature length. Is incredible.
Yeah, for real.
Very good performance. So he got 6 nominations. He got actor for Anthony Hopkins, supporting actors for Olivia Coleman, adapted screenplay, editing, production design, and then finally, obviously, got nominated for Best Picture. I don't have a problem with any of them. I
No,
think it's the weakest in the production design category,
I'd say that's
but everything else is kind of a no-brainer, really. It deserves all of it, in my opinion.
yeah. I remember thinking when I saw the nominations come out for the film editing, thinking like to me it didn't make sense that the father would be uh, something that would be nominated for film editing, but after seeing it, I can definitely see why this
No,
is
it's very well edited.
yeah.
It's. I think the editing is a huge part of it, as much as the screenplay.
I think so too. I think that it really did help give you a sense of being disoriented but not confused, I guess, if that makes sense.
Do you think they should have gotten anything else?
Um,
I'm not particularly fond of the score. I also
yeah,
don't think it's an original score. I think they use a lot of songs.
probably. Uh, Off the top of my head, I don't really think that there's anything that I would have added to their nominations. Um,
I would have gone with 5. Probably would have left out production design, but I'm not mad that it got production design either.
mhm, yeah,
It's a great movie. It's hindered by the fact that it's not widely distributed. Not a lot of people saw it yet. It was in festivals, a couple screeners floating around.
mhm,
We got to watch it, but not everyone has that privilege yet.
not yet,
But
but
they will.
yeah,
It'll be out, and everyone will watch it when they do. I think they'll gain a newfound respect. But yeah, I think going into the Oscars, it's always going to be one of the least talked about ones.
I think you might be right. I don't think it has the hype that a lot of some of the others might have.
1917 tried something similar last year and it worked, but
Yeah, but I think that 1917 might have been more deliberate than this one. I don't know
yeah.
if
I mean, yeah, with all the pandemic, it's hard, and this is not in a streaming service, so
yeah, exactly. I think that they're not. I don't think that this was like a tactic that the father distributors were trying to use. I think that's just kind of how it ended up happening. But with 1917,
yeah.
it definitely was a choice.
I think this is the only one right now that's not accessible for purchase or in a streaming service.
You're probably right.
Minari might not be, but
Oh
I
yeah.
think it is. I think you can rent Minari.
Yeah, I don't know.
When we get to Minari, we'll let you know.
Yeah, for sure. But so what you give it? What's your rating?
Very solid 8. There's
I
no doubt in my mind. It could have gone higher, but it has certain limitations.
Yeah, I agree. It was a solid 8 for me too. I loved it. I thought it was um very well done, very
Hmm.
entertaining. But I think like you've said before, it's very one note kind of thing.
I mean, there's only much you can do with repeating the same thing over and over again to give you this sense of lost.
Yeah.
But I mean, the movie's short enough where it can pull it off.
Yeah.
I feel like if you went for the 2 hours, you'd be a little tired of seeing the chicken brought up again, or him confusing his caretaker for his daughter again. You can
Or
only
him
do that
losing
a
his
certain
watch.
amount of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, he lost his watch, and that was always a big talking point. Kept thinking people stole his watch. Yeah.
Yeah. But overall, very good start, I think, to our Oscar highlights.
Yes, people think this year is way weaker than last year. I think by the end of this, if you watch all of them, you won't be thinking that.
Well, we'll see. I haven't seen all of them yet, but
Me neither. So we'll see you next time,
yeah.
which will be in 3 days' time,
Yes, and
right?
don't
4 days.
yeah, Monday. We're posting this on Thursday. It'll be Monday.
Yeah, it'll be Monday. So we'll see you Monday.
Yes.
Hopefully, don't
And
forget to subscribe so you get the notification. You can ring the bell if you're on YouTube. It helps.
yes, and you can always try to talk to us in the comments or on Letterboxd. We're
Yeah,
pretty
we're
receptive.
very reachable.
Yes.
We appreciate every type of communication we get. And yeah, thank you for listening.
See you next episode.